Maladaptive daydreaming is an extreme escapism coping mechanism, usually in response to trauma, abuse, or loneliness. With daydreams, we can usually tell our minds drifted off for a few moments. We then shake off the daydream and get back to life. In a maladaptive daydream, you essentially lose real-life time. It could be morning, and by the time something pulls you back to reality, you could be looking at the darkened sky and wondering,
where did the day go?
Do you know someone who is a bit of a loner or who seems detached from others? People with schizoid personality disorder take the idea of being a loner to the extreme. It is characterized by social detachment and restricted emotions. They tend to miss social cues and come across as cold or aloof. Schizotypal personality disorder. This one is similar to schizoid with one key difference. Do you know someone who believes in odd things? Fairies, magic, things that are otherwise considered strange? One of the key features in schizotypal personality disorder is a so-called magical thinking. They're often awkward in social situations, much like those with schizoid personality disorder, but also experience perceptual and cognitive distortions, as well as displaying erratic behavior. This personality disorder is likable to the more well-known condition, schizophrenia. They are very closely linked, with a lot of overlap.
I've spent a large portion of my life daydreaming, which my parents never saw this as a problem. My parents always told me, well, you're just really intelligent and you're really creative and gifted and you just have a vivid, overactive imagination. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Maladaptive daydreaming is not a mental diagnosis in itself. It is more of a symptom. It was only recently described around 2002, and then in 2020 during the pandemic when many of us were lonely and isolated and just sitting around at home with nothing to do, a lot of us realized we were spending large portions of our life living in a daydream, which is essentially what maladaptive daydreaming is. It commonly goes with a lot of other conditions like OCD, schizoid personality disorder, autism. In my experience, maladaptive daydreaming is far more vivid and immersive than regular daydreaming. It has become an escape into an elaborate fantasy world that I could get lost in for hours, and it's gotten a lot better over the years with therapy. However, I still do struggle with it. It was probably the worst when I was a teenager, before I had even ever heard of this phenomenon. I would be in my room, hanging out, playing video games, or listening to music, and maybe smoking a little bit of the good green, you know, and it would be like 3 p.m. Next thing I know, hours has passed, and it's now 8 o'clock, and it's dark, and it's like, where did the day go? Once I come back to reality, I realize where I am. Okay, I'm in my room, I'm listening to music, or I'm sitting here, or whatever. But in the moment when I'm daydreaming, I don't realize that it's happening a lot of the time. I will legitimately see, feel, hear, smell. I will feel like I am somewhere else. I thought it was just normal to be daydreaming that much. I thought it was just normal daydreaming. I thought that's how everyone felt. I feel like this cost me jobs. I would get fired for poor performance because if I wasn't stimulated to a certain degree, if I was left to my own devices for even just a minute, or sometimes in the middle of a boring conversation with a boss or something, I would completely and utterly disconnect. And next thing I know, I'm at a party. I'm hanging out with all these girls. I'm getting drunk with them. I'm having a good time, and I'm like, oh, that new girl I met, Kathy, she said something really funny. I mean, I should go tell that joke to my other friend. Oh, what? Did you just say something, boss? Oh my god, I'm at work. And the boss just thinks that I'm purposely tuning them out and purposely ignoring them. And they say, you seem like you don't want this job, or you seem like you don't want this. And I would say, I do. And they didn't believe me, because to them, it just seemed like I didn't care about the job or wasn't paying attention. You could just be completely taken out of your real life and be living in this movie. You know when, like, you're a kid and you download your personality from a character in a movie you like, or like you imagine yourself in that movie? That's what it's like, except you don't have to actually sit down and watch a movie. You'll just have this movie of your life play out in your head, and it sounds stupid to a lot of people, but it almost kind of feels like schizophrenia in a way, like a detachment from reality. It is like a psychosis almost. It is like a delusion that you actually feel as though things that happened in your imagined scenario that you didn't even try to do, by the way, it starts to feel real, and you start to confuse what is real and what is not. And conditions like schizoid personality disorder and schizotypal personality disorder involve a lot of this kind of disconnect from reality, this kind of confusion between reality and fantasy. If you're dealing with any of these challenges, just know that you're not alone. It is okay to seek help. Do not let anyone tell you that there's something wrong with seeing a therapist. I haven't been posting many videos lately because I've been struggling with this for years, and YouTube is a big outlet for me. I really appreciate all of you, and I never thought I would get so much support from people here on YouTube, and I didn't think that this channel was going to grow into what it is. I know it's still small, but I've had a few videos pop off a little bit, and it just means the world to me. So thank you so much for your support. I'm unemployed, and that situation doesn't seem to be changing anytime soon. I'm sure a lot of you know how hard it can be. So if you appreciate my content, please consider sending me a tip. I got the tip link in my channel description, and I'll post it down below too if you'd like to send me a tip. Buy some of my merch. I got some new merch. I got a few new t-shirts and things of that nature. I'm working on some new merch designs, and they're pretty affordable. I got a couple shirts that are about $18. Thanks for listening to my story. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing, hitting the like button, or sharing it with someone who might benefit from hearing from this. If you have any questions or want to share your own experiences, drop a comment down below. I would love to hear from you. Remember, you are not alone, and there's always a path forward. Thanks for watching, and until next time.